Hello everyone, and welcome back to Conspiraseed. Today we're going over part 1 of Tier 8 of the Unsolved Mysteries Iceberg. Tier 8 is the last tier, so we're coming up on the end. There's probably going to be 3 parts to Tier 8, as well as there was Tier 7. So, two more videos after this one. And then the supercut, which will be the whole thing. Thank you for choosing to spend some time with me today, and let's just get into it.
Nothing like being subscribed to Conspiraseed on YouTube. Nothing like it.
The B1 Butcher is an unidentified serial killer in Namibia. They murdered at least 5 women between 2005 and 2007, with all murders happening near the National Road B1, which is kind of where they get their name. The Butcher got its name from the Namibian media due to the victim's remains being found in close proximity to the National Road B1, which crosses the country from north to south. The Butcher part of the name stems from the professional way in which the bodies were dismembered. The Butcher was also referred to as the Comus Ripper due to the region where the remains of the victims were found. All 5 of the victims were young or middle-aged women. 2 of the 5 could not be identified. The other 3 were Juanita Mabula, 21, Melanie Jantz, 22, and Sana Helena, 36. All the victims' body parts showed signs of freezing or refrigeration, suggesting that they were in some sort of cold storage, at least for a bit. The way each of them were murdered is not consistent, however, as some were strangled, while others were hit on the head with blunt objects. At least 2 of the 5 victims were also prostitutes in the area. The Rainbow Maniac is the name of a person responsible for the Patriots Park murders, which were a series of 13 murders of gay men committed between July 2007 and August of 2008. The murders took place in Patriots Park in Brazil. The victims were all gay men aged 20 to 40. All except for one victim was shot in the head. The other one died from blows to the head. The last victim was actually shot 12 times. According to Brazilian media, the park is in an area frequented by prostitutes. The first murder occurred on July 4th, 2007, and the last happened on March 15th, 2009. Officials from the Sao Paulo State Public Safety Department announced that the killer could be a state police officer. As of 2008, tests are underway to see if the same gun was used in each murder. On December 10th, 2008, police arrested a retired state police sergeant, Juan Francisco Franco, based on statements implicating him in the murder, which occurred on August 19, 2008. A witness claims to have seen that Franco shot a black gay man 12 times that night. Another witness told police that Franco often visited the park to look for gay men and victims. On August 23, 2011, however, he was released after a trial and he was found not guilty. The Lodz gay murderer is an unidentified Polish serial killer who operated in Lodz from 1988 to 1993. He murdered 7 men, all of whom were gay. Lots of hate crimes in this episode, I guess. All victims were killed in their own houses and right after or even during sexual intercourse. The perpetrator would then steal TVs, videos, jewelry, cash, and any other items from the apartment of the murdered men. The victims were killed in all sorts of manners, including strangling, stabbing, or being beaten to death. The murders didn't seem to be planned ahead of time because all the tools that were used to commit the crimes were objects from the victims' houses. The last man who was killed was a man by the name of Kazimierz K, who was 62 years old. After he was killed, an important witness came forward, a man who claimed to have relations with a young man named Roman. The witness said that he met with Roman the previous day, where they went to Kazimierz K's apartment for a party. When all the guests left, it was just Kazimierz and Roman who stayed behind. The following day, he was found dead. The witness testified that Roman told him a lot about himself. Roman said that he was raped by an educator from the reformatory when he was 15. He was supposedly working in the Eskimo cotton industry and lived with his mother in the area of Rizgowska Street. He was 27, had hazel eyes, and dark blonde hair combed to the side. He also had tattoos, a dot over his left eye, and a dot and letters on the fingers of his left hand. However, this Roman person has never been found. On March 21st, 2021, a mass grave containing the mutilated corpses of 4 teenage boys was found by a shepherd's dog in the Jankanil area of Pakistan. As the locals dug up the bodies, one was found to have been beheaded, one had been shot, and the other 2 had been stoned to death. The victims were identified. They were between 13 and 17 years old and were known to hunt birds and wild rabbits in the area. The boys had gone hunting 3 weeks earlier and were never seen alive again. Soon after the bodies were discovered, a protest sit-in was started with the dead bodies to demand action against militants. The local police placed roadblocks and used tear gas and guns to stop the protesters. The reason for these protests is because, according to local journalists, the 4 boys had also been kidnapped during 2020 by a militant group when they went out hunting as well. There was a video released of them being held hostage and then they were freed. It's still unknown who caused the death of these boys. The Pharmacy Maniac is the name of a Russian serial killer who killed 2 men in 2011, both of them in pharmacies. The first murder was on May 26, 2011. The killer entered the pharmacy wearing a medical mask like the COVID ones, glasses, and a hat. He also had a sawed-off shotgun and a black cellophane bag. When he entered the pharmacy, there were a total of 8 people in the store, 4 employees and 4 customers. He proceeded to demand cash and jewelry from the people, stating, "I need 60,000 rubles. Put the money in. Whoever doesn't want to can move away, but I will shoot them in the stomach." Later, 2 more women entered the pharmacy and the robber ordered them to give him their jewelry and to get on the ground. The women gave him some gold chains, a bracelet, a ring, a cross, and a church pendant. While this was happening, some people were able to escape from the emergency exit. Then, Vladimir Shin, a 49-year-old man, entered the pharmacy to purchase his medications. Seeing the robbery in progress, he attempted to run out of the front door. The robber yelled "stop" and then shot Shin in the chest, killing him. The robber then fled the scene. Later that same year, on August 10th, 2011, the same robber entered another pharmacy only 500 meters, a little under half a mile, away from the first location. He wasted no time, shooting Igor Unistov, a 30-year-old man, upon first entering the store. Without even stealing anything, he went outside and reloaded his gun. After reloading, he walked back inside and shot Igor in the head multiple times. By this point, multiple people were able to escape through another room. There were, however, some witnesses left who said that the robber said, "It's your fault," put his gun in the cellophane bag, and then left. The Monster of the Manjones is the name of a Colombian serial killer who murdered between 30 and 38 teenage boys in the 1960s and 70s in the city of Santiago de Cali. He is believed to be a local and native to the city, and most of his victims were killed in remote vacant lots. At the time, it was the most notorious criminal case in the country's history. For some, the monster became a myth or legend, while others still believed he existed because of course he does. His methods were sadistic to say the least. He would often insert needles into the heart and then the thorax, then he would assault, rape, and torture his victims. He would then use the needles to draw blood from his victims, killing them. He was described as a true sexual sadist, and maybe even suffered from clinical vampirism. El Psicopata, translating to the psychopath, is the alias given to a Costa Rican serial killer responsible for the murders of 19 people from 1986 to 1996. Again, that's kind of a cool name. Like, if you're going for serial killer names, the psychopath, kind of cool. He was named by the civil police of Costa Rica in 1996, who are investigating similar crimes that were unsolved from the previous years. According to Costa Rica legislation, however, the crime statute of limitations has expired, and if the suspect or suspects were found, they could no longer be charged for any of the murders. I don't understand why murder has a statute of limitations. Like, you're telling me I could go kill someone and then 20 years later it's like, hey, I did that by the way, and they can't do anything about it. I don't think they have a statute of limitation on murder in the United States, but that's crazy, Costa Rica. This one also kind of feels like they just can't solve a number of murders, and so they're just like, it's a serial killer. Happening in 2012 in Kharkiv, Ukraine, the Kharkiv beheadings was a mass murder in which a judge and his family were beheaded with a machete. The judge, Vladimir Trofimov, his wife Irina, their son Sergei, and the son's girlfriend were attacked in the eastern Ukraine city on December 15, 2012. They were attacked at his family home. The bodies were all left at the scene minus their heads. It was reported that the judge, his wife, and the girlfriend were killed and then beheaded, but the son was beheaded while still alive. Police say that the motive was unknown, but possibly could be revenge or theft. The Milwaukee Police Department bombing occurred on November 24, 1927 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA. The bomb killed 9 members of the police force as well as 1 civilian. The perpetrators were never caught, but it was suspected to be an anarchist terrorist cell operating within the United States in the early 20th century. The target was actually initially an evangelical church in the 3rd Ward and only killed the police officers when the bomb was taken from the church to the police department by a concerned citizen. The reason for thinking that it was done by a local anarchist group was actually due to the initial target. On September 9th, 1917, the Reverend of the 3rd Ward Evangelical Church held a rally in Milwaukee's Bayview neighborhood. Anarchists disrupted the rally, police fired on the demonstrators, killing 2, arresting 11, and that led to a raid on their organization. Alright, that's the end of part 1 of Tier 8. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a comment down below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for choosing to spend time with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.